our seniors yoga class. Let's begin by closing the eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. If you'd prefer to keep your eyes open, you're absolutely welcome to do that. See if you can soften your eyes just a little bit. And start to lift upwards through your spine. See how tall you can sit. Right at the very top of that seat, get as long and as tall as you can, but then let your arms, your shoulders kind of dangle off the spine. Let things soften just a little bit. Feel an openness across your chest. A little lightness in the hips because you're lifting your torso up and out of the hips. But at the same time, start to press down into your feet. And you'll feel a little bit of effort in the legs. So you don't have to press down so much like you're trying to drive your feet into the ground, but just a little bit of effort into the feet to wake up the strength of the legs. With the eyes closed or soft, bring your attention now to your breathing. Notice how you've arrived at your breath today, whether it was through the sensation of your chest lifting and lowering, the feeling of air coming in and out of your nose, or the gentle expansion and contraction of your belly. There's many ways to experience your breath. Just notice how you came to your breath today. And let whatever way brought you into your breath, let it take you all the way in. Become really enamored with your own breathing. So you're letting go of the distractions of thinking because you're getting so curious, so interested in your own breath. The challenge is that often when we get so interested in our breathing, we start to change our breath a little bit. We start to alter it. So see if you can let your breath happen naturally, but stay really present with your breath, really aware of your breathing. Still working a bit of strength in the feet, lifting tall through the spine. On your next inhale, you're going to lift just your toes off the floor. Then as you exhale, let your toes come down. Take another inhale to lift the toes up, just the toes peel off the ground. Then you're going to exhale, let them come down. One more time, take an inhale, lift those toes up, and then spread them wide as they come back down onto the earth. Good. This time as you inhale, lift the toes up again, but then also lift the soles of the feet up. Come onto your heels. Then as you exhale, let the soles of the feet and the toes down. Good. Inhale, lift the toes up and the soles of the feet up. And then exhale, lower them down. You'll feel some of this effort now, this action in your legs. As the soles of the feet lift and lower, there'll be muscles in your calves, maybe even in your thighs that you feel work. Good. Next time the toes come down, let the toes stay on the ground. This time lift your heels up. And then as you exhale, lower your heels down. There might be a little bit of snap, crackle, and pop there as we get some more motion in those ankles. Good. Next time the heels lift, keep them lifted as high as you can comfortably bring them. So you don't need to bring them super high, just as lifted as is available for your toes. And then walk your feet in a little bit so they're more directly below, so your toes are more directly below your knees. And then you can start to circle at the heels. So you're trying to move your heels in circles here. So they're moving both feet together. Good. Now try circling the other way. Good. Then bringing the heels back up nice and high. Again, only as high as is comfortable, so not causing any pain. Walk the feet a little bit further forward so that as the heels come down, The heels now land underneath your knees. Good, lift and spread your toes again. Plant the feet down and start to press into the feet. Sitting up nice and tall. Good, let's inhale now, draw the shoulders back, lift the chest up and slide your hands forward. So we're taking a little bit of an arc in the back. So I'm not sure if you can see here, but you'll take a little bit of an arc in the back, and I'm exaggerating slightly so that you can see it. Let's take one more breath with this gentle arc. Be mindful of your spine though. If this arcing is not appropriate for you, you're gonna work to sit up even taller. Good. From here, as you exhale now, tuck your chin in, hug the chest and belly in and round your spine. Arms are straight, hands on the knees, curling in, pressing into the feet. Couple breaths here. Then inhale, belly forward, chest lift, shoulders back, look up. Exhale, rounding down and in. Good, arms stay straight. Inhale, lifting up, looking up. Exhale, curling in. Good, inhaling, big breaths to lift up, fill up. Exhale to curl. One more time like this. Good, exhale, curling in. This time as you inhale, draw the belly forward, lift the chest, then shift your chest over to your right. Round in again through center, curl in as you go to your left. Inhale, lift up through the center to your right. Exhale, rounding in and going to your left. Good, so we're circling here through the rib cage, through the torso. You'll feel a little bit of that churning action in the belly. And go slow here, so you're actually feeling that motion, that churning or circling like motion. Sometimes we get into this motion and we actually simply rock from side to side, but we want to really move things in a circle here. Let's try going the other way. Reverse it, same action, but going back in the opposite direction. The head, the shoulders are moving, the elbows can soften a little bit here to access some more motion in those shoulders. Good. You're still breathing, very nice. Good, come back up into center now, sitting up tall again, feet still pressing down, legs still strong. Grow that spine. You might even notice there's a little bit more space to be had now that we're opening up, stretching, getting those muscles warm. Good, from here with the arms straight, we're gonna inhale and lift the hands away from the legs, letting the fingers point down, lifting the arms as high as is comfortable. Big breath in. Then slowly exhale, paint the air in front of you with your palms, letting the hands come back down towards the knees. Good. Inhale, big long breath in. We're getting some motion in those shoulders. Exhale, let the arms come down. Very good. One more time like this. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, arms come down. Good. This time as you inhale, arms will go wide out to the side, as wide as you can bring them. Take them even a little bit back if that's available, and up. Turning those palms forward again, paint the air out in front of you as the hands come towards the knees. Inhale, sweep them out and up. And then exhale, forward and down. Very good. Be aware of the jaw here. Very often we clench the jaw. Soften the jaw. One more time, nice and wide with the arms. As the arms come up, this time as you exhale, you'll fold forward. Elbows might come to rest on the thighs. Especially if there's any concern for blood pressure here, you want to keep your head above your heart. If there's no concern for blood pressure or concern for pressure behind the eyes, you can let your elbows slide off the legs and fold all the way down, letting your head hang towards the ground. Arms can dangle. Good. Wherever you are now, you're breathing deep, easy breaths. It is a compression here on the front of the body, so we're stimulating some digestive organs, but it also means you could feel a bit of restriction in your breathing, so try to exaggerate your breath a bit more in the back of your body. Good work. Bringing the hands to the front of the feet, shins or knees. Inhale, glide the hands up the legs, past the belly, past the chest towards the sky, and again, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rolling up, sweeping up. Exhale, letting it all go and folding down. Good. Inhale, reaching up. We got two more after this. Good, just getting everything warmed up, ready to move, ready to go. Good, last one, we got one more. Inhale, sweeping up, rolling up, good. Exhale again, folding forward. This time, everybody bring your elbows onto your knees and walk your feet a little bit wider. So you might need to adjust yourself on the chair, depending on the height of the chair or how the chair is positioned. Make sure that you're fully sitting on the chair, but your legs are a bit wider. They might be as wide as the chair or even wider if your hips allow. Then turn your toes out slightly from your heels. And if you're actually looking at your toes, look at the toes and look at your kneecap. See if you can point your toes and your kneecap in about the same direction. So your toes are not pointing wider than the kneecaps or narrower. They're about the same direction as the kneecaps. Good. Bringing your hands now one at a time up onto the knees. Lift the chest slightly and guide your chest forward, so towards me. Lift the chest, bring your chest out and in front. Good. Shoulders back. Engage a little bit of belly support. Remember now, we know we can breathe into the back of the body, so still taking some deep breaths. You're going to take your belly onto your right thigh. Then as you inhale, lift up, lean back, and come over to your left thigh. Exhaling, gliding the belly across. Inhale, lifting up, leaning back. Exhale, belly across. Good. Inhale. Good, and then exhale. Let's switch directions, go the other way. Big circles here, but nice straight spine now. So we move the circles deep into the hips. Good. Last one, last big circle here. And once again, we're going to come back down into that forward fold. So chest is forward. Now elbows can rest onto the thighs. Feet are a little wider apart again, toes turning out slightly. Chest is lifted. So depending on what's going on in your low back and your hips, you can keep your elbows up onto your thighs. That's a bit more supportive. You might even lift up a little higher if you've got a fair bit of soreness in the low back or any injury. If there's no concern for low back or the hips, where things are feeling really good today, you might come down to bring your hands onto your ankles or maybe even onto the floor. So anywhere along there, hands on the knees, elbows on the thighs, or hands down around the ankles or feet. That's great. Be where it's appropriate for you. And then wherever you are, you're breathing. Heart is still open, so we're not collapsing down. The chest is lifted, the gaze is lifted. Good. All right. From here, we're going to keep the left hand on the floor or the left elbow on the knee and bring your right hand up onto your right knee. Roll your right shoulder back and start to turn to look towards your right. Press down equally into both feet. You'll feel your hips lighten just a little bit. And then maybe take the right arm up towards the sky. If your right arm is lifted, you're going to exhale, sweep that right arm down and across, reach it over to the left. And then inhale, sweep it back up. So you can create this dynamic motion in your twist. Or today, if it feels better for you to simply hold in your twist, you can stay there. We'll take 2 more breaths like this. Inhale to reach up. Last one here as you exhale, sweep down and across. And then again, inhale, big sweeping motion up, look up. As you exhale, you're going to release your right hand, maybe elbow onto the thigh, maybe hand to the floor or the ankle. Switching sides. So the left hand now lifts up onto the left knee. Take that left shoulder, draw it back onto your back, turning and looking towards your left. Good work. Then maybe sweep that left arm up. Let's see what it feels like. Maybe today that's not appropriate for your spine or your shoulder, and that's okay. You can keep your hand on your knee. Breathing where you are. If you're moving that dynamic twist, you're going to exhale the left hand down and across, reaching to the right. Then inhale, opening up. Exhale, down and across. Inhale, sweeping up and open. Very good. Exhale, down and across. You're doing great here. Keep the motion going with the breath. Last one, exhaling, down and across, inhaling, taking that left arm up, looking up, then releasing the left hand onto the knee, turning to face forward, lift the right hand up onto the knee, Slowly bring your chest up. Take your time. We've had our head a little bit further below our heart. So be mindful if there's any dizziness to pause and let that dizziness pass before moving on. You can bring your feet now a little bit closer together. Have a glance down at your feet. Ensure there's approximately hip 2 fist distance between your feet. So you can fit about 2 fists between your feet. That just helps to align the heels with the space of your hip joints. Okay, that's an approximate thing. So give that a try. Again, pressing into the feet. Let's take arms forward and up. Good, you're gonna feel strength in your legs here. So if you have any concerns for your knees or low back, you're gonna stay like this, extending, lifting through the chest and the arms, pressing down into the feet. If the knees and low back feel okay, when you lift through the chest, allow yourself to press down and lift all the way up and out of the chair. Rise up, reach up, look up, then slowly bend your knees, sit your hips back and come all the way down into the chair. Good work. Press into those feet, lift up, rise up, sweep up. Good. Exhale, slowly bend those knees, sit back and down. So the hips really have to go back to come down. Good, and one more time, let's inhale, rise up, reach up, look up, then bend those knees, sit back and pause just before your hips touch the chair. So some of you might be hovering the hips, some of you might have the hips on the chair. That's okay, wherever you are, you're breathing nice and deep. Your hands might stay lifted today. You might bring your hands on your hips, that's nicer for the shoulders, or you might extend the arms back behind you, opening the chest. Wherever you are, take some deep, full breaths here. Good work. Then on your inhale, inhale to sweep the arms out and up. Look up, bring the palms together in front of the heart, and exhale the hands down. So that their arms are reaching up, palms to touch, and the hands will come down in front of the heart. Good. When the hands rest there, take a moment to close the eyes. Let the breath settle. Feel the energy that's starting to move and circulate around the body. Good. Now we're going to keep the hands at the heart here. I'm just going to turn so you can see. I'm even sort of tie up my shirt here so it's a little bit easier to see what's happening in my back and my front. We're going to take the hands at the heart, standing with those standing with your feet 2 fist distance apart, or seated with the same position of the feet. You're going to press down into your feet, get heavier in the back of your hips, lift the heart towards your fingertips. Now the challenge here is we often press our hips forward and hug the shoulders up. Let's undo that a little bit. Keep your hips right over your heels. If you're seated, you have a little advantage there, as you're actually going to keep the hips on the chair. Shoulders stay over the hips and shoulders come down from the ears, lifting the heart up, looking up. Again, if there's concern or injury along the spine, you're going to focus to stand as tall as you can. So pressing down through the feet, lifting up through the heart. If the spine has no injuries, no osteoporosis, keeping the hands at the heart, you might start to draw the chest up and back a little bit, coming into a back bend here. Wherever you are though, you're able to breathe. Good work. Nice. Press into those feet, strengthen those legs. Inhale to rise back up. Exhale, release the hands to your sides into your Tadasana. Now, if there's any dizziness, any lightheadedness, just have a seat in your chair for a moment, let it pass. Good work. Okay, so let's take the chair now. Bring the chair so it's in front of you, and the seat of the chair is facing you. Now, for some of us, because we're all working from home, you might notice that, or you might not have a chair to work from. You might have a table that's better suited for you, or a wall. You're welcome to use those, but make sure that you're stable, that whatever surface you're using is really stable. So even with the chair, if you've got a rolly chair, I would suggest using the wall or a table instead. Once you have your supported surface set out in front of you, your feet are now going to go at least as wide as your hips. Some of you might even bring your feet a little bit wider, if that's okay for your hips. Notice though, as the legs go wider, the feet don't turn out like they did when we were seated. We're going to keep the toes pointing straight forward. Good. Hands now can come onto the hips and start to press down into both feet. Notice though, if you've started to lock your knees, that can just make balance a little precarious. So let's unlock the knees a little bit, press into the feet, and play with our balance by lifting the toes up slightly. Yeah, so if you wobble, you know you've got the chair there to hold on to, but make sure your knees aren't locking. That will contribute to that unstable feeling. So toes are lifted, pressing into the feet, open the heart. Good. Shoulders back, elbows back, lift the chest, look up. Okay, you can allow your toes to come down now, but keep the effort in the feet. Don't lose that strength in the legs. From here, slowly start to fold forward. So whether you're standing or seated, your legs are wide, hands are on the hips, and you're slowly starting to fold forward. Very good. Your hands now, if you're folding and you're standing, your hands could come onto the surface in front of you. Maybe that's a chair, maybe that's a table or a wall. Straighten your arms, lift your gaze, look forward, bring your chest forward. Good, still pressing into both feet. Nice. All right, we're gonna bend into the right knee and let your weight sink over to the right side. That's gonna build a bit of stretch into the left leg. Then straighten that left leg and bend, the right leg and then bend the left knee. Good, straighten the left leg and shift again over to the right. Good. A couple more times like this, side to side. We're just easing some stretch into the legs. If you're in the chair, your legs are wide. You're sliding one leg out, bringing it back in. Sliding the other leg out, bringing it back in. Good. Nice. Next time you come back into center, stay there. Keeping the feet parallel to one another. Lift your chest, look forward. Pressing into the feet, start to lift the sit bones, those bony bits you sit on. Try to fan them up and out behind you, and you may start to fold further down. Now it's nice, if you're sitting in the chair, it's nice to have a second chair in front of you. That usually gives just a little bit more support and play. But if you don't have that, that's okay. You can use your hands and elbows on your knees. With your feet wide, folding a little bit deeper, feel the sit bones lifting up behind you. Good. Be mindful again of the heart and the head. So if there's blood pressure concerns, keep your head above your heart. We're giving those hamstrings in the back of the calf just a few moments to lengthen. Good. And then coming back up onto your hands, lifting the chest, looking forward. Okay, we're going to take the left hand now, bring it onto the center of the chair. If you're seated, your left hand's going to come across to your right knee. Then your right hand can come up onto your right hip. And especially those who are standing, the hand on the hip is very helpful here, because as you roll your right shoulder up and you start to come into a twist, we want to keep the right hip down. We're trying to ensure our twist is coming into the spine, not into the hips. So we keep the hips level, roll that right shoulder up and slowly turn to the right. Good. Press into that left hand on the chair, into the feet, strengthen those limbs. You can keep your right hand on the hip if that's feeling okay for the shoulder. Maybe the right arm comes out to the right and lifts up towards the ceiling. Good. Wherever you are, you're breathing here. Notice the head. If the head's dropping, keep the head in line with the neck as best you can. Good. One more breath like this. Then you're going to gently release the right hand down onto the chair or onto your leg. So that's if you're seated. Yeah. And then we're going to switch sides. So the right hand will come into the center of the chair. If you're seated, your right hand will come to your knee. The left arm then the left hand comes onto the left hip. I'm just going to turn myself around here so you can see. We have the left hand on the left hip, again, guiding that hip down as the shoulder comes up. So the tendency here is for the whole side of the body to turn up, but that puts the twist actually into our hips and our hip joint. Today we want to keep the hips level and move into the spine. Take that twist in the spine. Again, so you're only going to where it feels okay for you, taking care of your spine, and then maybe that left arm fans out and up. Maybe today you're like, nope, the left hand's gonna stay on the hip, and that's okay. Good. Strong legs, strong, full breath. Good work. All right, you're gonna now release that left hand down onto the chair, holding the sides of the chair with both hands. Walk the feet in. So they're now directly below your hips. Good work. If you're in the chair, your variation is going to be a little bit different, so I'll show you in just a moment. For those who are standing, you're going to press into your right foot, make that right leg strong, and lift the left leg up behind you. So just like in our twist, we want to make sure the hip is rolling down, not up. Good. And that's going to use a little bit more back strength and core strength. So you might stay here like this. If you feel pretty stable here today, you might start to lighten the right hand from the chair and reach it out. Good. Breathing there. If you're sitting in the chair, you're going to have your left leg lifted, right arm lifted, left hand down beside you. But you're going to feel that work in the left leg. For those of you looking for just a little bit more challenge today, if you have the right arm lifted, see if you can start to lighten the left hand from the chair. Yeah, it's fun. Good. Good. Sometimes it's just even the thought of lifting the hand. Good. You can bring your left hand down if it's lifted, then bring your right hand down, then release your left foot down. Good work. Go ahead and shake those hips out a little bit. They're doing lots of strength work today. And then we'll come to the other side. So you're holding onto the chair. The weight is now in your left foot. You're going to take your right leg up behind you. As you do, watch the hip. Roll your right hip down. Lift the chest and look forward. Good. So this is great. You could hold here, keeping that right leg lifted, the right hip down. If you're feeling strong and sturdy today, maybe the left arm lifts. Maybe. Good. If you're sitting in the chair, the right leg is lifted, the left arm is up, the right arm is down beside you. And those who are standing and looking for a little added challenge today, maybe you've got a little extra spunk in you, you want to see what happens if you start to lighten the right hand. Again, not going to a place where you feel really wobbly, but just kind of testing out where you're at. Making sure you're breathing here. If your right hand is lifted, place it back down onto the chair, then release the left hand down, placing that right foot on the floor beside the left. Holding onto the chair here, give your hips a little bit of a wiggle. Good. You can bring your hand onto the back of the chair or onto your thighs. Lift up part way. And then begin to bring yourself all the way up. Sitting or standing tall, palms open at the sides. If you're feeling steady, there's no dizziness, you can close your eyes. You might notice a shortness or labored breathing here. Let it settle back into a deeper, smoother breath. And then for those of you who are comfortable making your way onto the floor, you'll come into your inversion today, which is legs up on the chair. So you'll make your way down onto the ground. You can use your chair for support. Coming to lay down, bringing one leg at a time up onto the chair, and your spine coming down on the ground. Now it's okay here to put a pillow under your head. So especially if you notice as the head comes down, that the chin is pointing more straight up to the ceiling. That's a fair bit of pressure on the back of the neck. So a little pillow there under the head can tuck the chin. And then your hands can rest onto your belly. So that's for those who are comfortable coming to the floor, where that feels available to you. But you don't have to do that. If that's not comfortable for you, you'll simply come to sit in your chair. All the way back in your chair. Feet might come to rest on a block, a book, or a pillow. Settling your spine against the back of the chair, palms facing up. And then wherever you are, close your eyes. Soften the eyes. Notice how when we purposefully ease the effort of the eyes, we heighten our own awareness of other senses. So notice when the eyes are soft or closed, what else can you hear? What else can you smell? What else can you taste? What else can you feel? Notice if there's some residual tension sitting in the face or in the jaw, or maybe through the throat and the tongue. As you start to learn how to soften these places, it has an effect throughout the body. So many of us hold tension in our throat, in our jaw, and in our face. And just by releasing tension from those places, we create a cascade of release throughout the body. Feel that softening, that letting go. And from here, you'll bring your right knee into your belly, interlace your hands around your right shin or thigh, and just gently start to hug the knee in. This is our Ardha Padangusthasana. I'm going to give us a few options here. This is your first option. You can hold here, breathing. This is a great option for compressing at the knee, the hip, and as well as stimulating the digestive organs on the right side. If the hip is allowing you today to let the knee open out to the side, you might take your right foot and bring it onto your left thigh. So for those on the chair, your left leg is still resting on the chair, and the right ankle might come across to rest on the front of the left thigh. That's an option. It's not necessary. So if it's not available, if it causes strain in the knee, hip, or ankle, come back to Ardha Padangusthasana. Hold the leg there. Breathe as you are. If you have your right ankle across onto the left leg, gently start to press your right knee down just a little bit. Those who are seated, it's really important here that you work to sit as tall as you can. You have a little bit more effort you need to put in since you're sitting on the chair. You need to lift the spine. Those on the floor, you get to let the spine rest on the ground, but we're still just gently pressing the right knee away. Good work. Okay, if you have your right ankle resting on your left leg, support the right leg as you slowly slide it off. If you're lying on the floor, the right shin or calf will come onto the chair. And if you're sitting, both feet now are flat on the ground, sitting tall. And then we'll come into Ardha Padangusthasana on the other side. The left knee will come in, hands around the shin or thigh, give the leg a squeeze in. Good, shoulders soft. Breath moving. Again, you're welcome to hold here. So you can hold around the shin or the thigh, whatever's feeling best for your knee. And if the knee and hip allow, you might open the leg out to the left and bring that left ankle across to the right thigh. Again, that's just an option. So choose the option that is appropriate for your body today, remembering that the intention is that you come back to practice again tomorrow. So not going to a place that will reduce your ability to practice again. Okay. If you have your ankle across, your left ankle on your right thigh, then your left hand can come onto your left thigh just gently, very, very gently, encouraging that left thigh away from you. Those who are sitting in the chair, you're sitting tall. If you have your ankle resting on the opposite leg, gently support that left leg as you slide the foot off, releasing the leg. So if you are laying on the ground, both calves are now resting on the chair. If you're sitting in the chair, both feet are on the floor. For those lying on the ground, bring both knees now into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give both legs a squeeze in. If you're sitting in the chair, you can fold forward, again, being mindful of the head above the heart. Maybe wrapping the arms around the legs and squeezing here. If you're lying on the floor now, ease yourself over onto your side. Press yourself away from the chair or turn yourself in such a way that you can extend your arms out to the sides, your legs straight out on the ground. You can lay flat on the ground. If you're sitting in the chair, you can slowly roll yourself up, sitting tall and moving now away from the back of the chair. Good. Those lying on the floor, bend your knees, take your feet wide apart. So knees are bent, feet are on the ground, and the feet are going quite wide apart, allowing your knees now to windshield wiper from side to side. And you can do a little bit of that in the chair as well, just feeling a little bit of motion in the hips. And those on the floor, though, now allow both your knees to fall over to your left. So the left knee will come closer to the floor, the right knee may hover a little bit, but the feet are staying wide apart. If you're sitting in the chair, feet are flat, knees are pointing straight forward, your left hand will come across to your right thigh, your right hand will come around behind you. Gentle twist here. Wherever you are, try closing your eyes, guiding your breath in and out from your belly. And on your next inhale breath, slowly unwinding. Those on the floor, keep your feet wide, let your knees fall over to your right. Those sitting in the chair, take your right hand across to your left thigh, your left hand behind you, and begin that twist to look off towards your left. Flow with the breath here. Bring deep inhales to the belly. Little belly effort here to really expel the breath out. So active breathing. Good. On your inhale, slowly unwind, coming back into center. For those on the floor, if you have concerns for the low back, you can keep your feet wide, let your knees fall in together. If the low back's feeling okay, you can extend your legs now straight out onto the ground, resting your arms open to the sides, palms facing up. If you're in the chair, I'll encourage you again to sit all the way to the back of your chair, maybe using some support under your feet. Turning the palms up as they rest in your lap, settling the spine against the chair, and closing the eyes. So wherever you are here, your body has full support. Give into that support now, whether it's the ground or the chair. Feel the support beneath you and start to cultivate some more trust in that support. Let go of what truly can be let go of. There is nothing in this moment that you need to be doing. There's nowhere you need to go. Nothing that needs to be solved or remembered. Let all of that go. And come now into a place that is still and quiet. We'll bring us back in a few moments to close the practice together. but revel in this time of stillness and quiet. As you start to hear my voice again, simultaneously wake back up to your breathing, the gentle rolling in of air, rolling back out. Begin to slowly move through your fingers and move through your toes, easing some energy back up into the body. Take some gentle, kind movements that allow you to maintain this sense of peace and calm, even as you start to move. If it feels appropriate for you, you might take your hands together, interlace those fingers, and turn the palms away from you, starting to reach the arms long up overhead. If you're lying on the floor, you might point your toes and just feel a full body stretch. Those sitting in the chair, it might actually feel kind of nice to rock gently side to side, getting a bit of motion through the sides of the body. If you're lying on the floor, you can bend your knees and ease yourself over onto your right side if it's comfortable. If going to your right is not comfortable, you can roll to your left. If you're sitting in the chair, you'll release your hands down and then scooch yourself forward on the chair. So again, you're sitting about mid-chair, feet are flat on the floor. For those on the ground, take your time. You can come to sit up on the floor or sit in your chair, whatever feels most comfortable for you. But once you've come to your seat, and there's no rush to get there, bring your hands back together in front of the heart. Palms to touch. Let the thumbs rest gently against the sternum. Close the eyes once more. Take this opportunity as we come to close the practice to recognize the effort you've put into practice today. That even though we've come to close off this time, the benefits of practice, the experience of practice comes with us into the rest of our day. The experience of mobility, of breathing, of space, of strength, that stays with us in our day. Thank you all so much for coming and continuing to practice. Namaste.